So I am new to marathons.
Mm.
Tell me what should I do before I start?
First, I think focus on the real basics. Kind of sleep well, eat clean, nutritious food, which will help you grow. Balanced plates. There's no only protein and only this. No, a good balanced plate. Avoiding junk food. Strength training. What most runners don't do is they don't think about strength training only. So if your muscle isn't strong, how is it going to take the load? Right? You will get injured later at some point. So strength training focusing on strength of the muscle, mobility of the joints. Like ఒక joint tight గా ఉంటే ఆ చుట్టూ muscles లో injury you will get. So mobility of the joint and balance. So work on all these, gradually increase the distance. There is no hurry. You can run. I have been running for 11 years now. I can run races. This like I won't miss on anything. If I'm meant to run a race, it will happen. I don't have to finish the entire world's race in 2-3 years. No, there is time. Enjoy every race. Give it time. Each distance, reach your max potential. How well you can do each distance. Then graduate to the next distance. పక్కలు చేస్తున్నారు దే డిడ్ 42 ఈవెన్ ఐ కెన్ డూ కొంచెం కష్టపడి ఎస్ యూ కెన్ డూ బట్ వాట్స్ ద హరీ 3 yearsలో యూ ఫినిష్డ్ అల్ట్రా మ్యారథాన్స్ వాట్ నెక్స్ట్ there should be something to aspire to next, no? So space it out. That way you have time to manage your professional personal life and your hobbies, right?
Yeah. So what is the fun part or different kind of people you've met during the runs?
Oh, and the stories we tell and
Yeah.
what happens during this. We all of us end up doing something stupid at all times. So sharing those, after the race, how you talk about all this, like 1-2 hours you spend at the finish when you're taking pics, meeting new people, because when we go to outstation runs, we meet people from all over the country. So yeah, that is the most fun part about a race, I think. Yeah.
What is the most stupid thing that you have thought, oh shit, what did I do? Like, ఏంటిది ఇలా చేశానేంటి అని ఇప్పుడు ఆలోచిస్తే
I think there must be many, but I can't really. I will think about it and get back to you on that one.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the stupid things would I was like really start out fast. When like I would start at my 5. So every distance has a pace you can run. Like 5K, I can run at this pace. I can run 10K at a slower pace because it's a longer time. So my concept when I didn't have a coach was the first kilometer, how fast I run, that will decide the speed of the rest of the run. And I used to suffer at the end, kind of like barely making it at the end. I did it in my first 2 marathons, but later I learned. Thankfully, I learned.
Okay. So, ma'am, is Vizag a good place to run, like to practice for marathons?
Oh, Vizag, I'm blessed to be in Vizag to train, So Vizag has all rolling hills. So it's not flat. So when you run up hills and down hills, you become a very good runner. So we have that privilege. And the weather is so humid and hot for most part of the year. You can run in basically any other place if you train in Vizag. And in this context, I would like to invite all runners. We have our own Sandhya Marines Vizag Marathon happening on November 30th. Please come run and experience, because it's one of the most beautiful scenic routes you can run. One side hills and one side the coast. So you will not get this anywhere. You're getting training advantage, and we will give you a very good race experience. So please come and join us on November 30th.
So, ma'am, how did you run when you had periods, and what would you suggest to somebody who's having periods and has to run?
So yeah, sometimes I had to run races when I was on my period. I used to use sanitary pads, which are cottony feel, not the dry fit ones, so that they don't irritate the skin. And I didn't have, for me it was manageable because I don't have very heavy cycles. And usually during the run, you don't bleed so much. So it's usually post that happens. So it was manageable for me. But given that, I prefer not to do my long runs during my period. That's personal. It's nothing like you shouldn't do, but I prefer not to do it. I would like to schedule my run pre or post kind of. Menstrual cup is an amazing product for those women who want to be active. It's environment friendly, and you barely feel it. It doesn't cause any issues. You just need to know how to use it. Once you get used to it, I would totally recommend it. Then you also have option like period panties and all, which you can use during the cycles.
So it is it is up to the person.
Yeah, personal. There's nothing. Actually, you will be able to run really well because both your hormones are low. So your performance will be good. But it's up to you. But do you want to run? There's no like, yeah, you can run, so you should run. No. You choose when to run. Like you can schedule. Given that I always do a short run. I don't like to do the really long runs during my period, but I usually go for a short run because it eases out everything, kind of like the pain.
Is it not harmful? Like
there's no harm. There is absolutely no harm in running in your periods, as long as you're up to it.
Yeah.
It's only a personal choice, right? It's not going to harm you or in any way.
There's no damage happening.
Nothing.
Because a lot of people have
you have to rest
a lot.
You have to rest and it will increase the bleed. Nothing like that will happen. No.
Okay.
And I would also say you strength train during this time. It's really helpful. But it's again a personal thing. You feel like resting it out, please do.
Okay.
Just because everybody says you can do it doesn't mean you have to do it. It's your choice.
I've heard you say a lot of times that youth need to do some or the other sports or some or the other activity. They have to be active and all. Why do you suggest so?
So sports gives you a discipline in life like no other. So it kind of, you learn how to, like I said, to wake up on time for a sport, maintain a good diet, be physical active. Humans were meant to move. We are moving far less. The new studies say that 8 hours of sitting is equivalent to smoking. It's that bad for your health. So I'm worried the kids are spending so much time on the screen. That is mentally, it is bringing their mental capabilities down. Physically, it is affecting them in so many ways. And when you play a sport, you get losing and winning. You learn to accept them. You don't get carried away by the winning, like you're invincible, and you don't get bogged down by whenever you lose. Team effort. It's not about you. It's how you work in a team. All these translate into life, in your job, in your academics, in your personal relationships. There is so much to learn from sports, leading a sport primary life, that you can translate into other phases in your life. So yes, absolutely, I would recommend sports to you. Like I said, don't do it to make it a career always. You can play for the sheer joy of it, like I did as a kid. It gives you so much joy while you do it. So scientifically proven, right? Like whenever you do a physical activity, there's endorphin release. So that gives you a high. So why do you want to do drugs or smoking when there's such a safe and good way to do? Side effect, you look very good. Your skin is glowing. You're fit. You don't have to think about your body. You will end up looking fit. And you worked for it. So this you don't buy. This is not some product you buy and wear. You earned it. And that gives you a whole different level to it. So yes, I have huge respect for people who work out and are fit, who are taking care of their bodies, who put themselves first. Yeah.
And I also want to share a personal experience. So I love dancing. I don't say that I do really good dance, but I love dancing. And each time I do dance, like of course I do it with my bare foot. When I put my feet on ground, when I dance, when I move, when I shake my body, when I do the expressions, and when I record myself doing dance, and when I see that recording, I feel so good. It's not because I've done the move correctly. It is because after I do a dance, after I do that practice, and then I sit down to study, the kind of sudden good feeling in my brain, that good feeling, it actually makes me concentrate and put more focus on study.
I'm so glad you brought this up. This is how you're physically active it's physical activity, right?
And it gives me so much happiness.
Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, joy. I mean, dance is always to express. It's not to impress anybody. We have to realize that all the sport is for us to feel good. Not that somebody will tell, "Oh my God, she ran so well." That's never the thing, right? Even in dance, I'm sure you realize it's that moment of pure joy during it. Where did you become a professional career out of it? Doesn't matter, right? It's just the joy of being able to do it.
Yeah.
And yes, it translates into better. They also say, like, when you're getting stuck at academics, do a 10 squats or 20 squats or push-ups. It rewires and it becomes fresh, and you are more attentive and accepting of new information. I'm glad you told this as a youngster, because like me, older lady saying, they will say, "Oh, Indian moms always nag." They will keep telling like this. But I'm glad you as a youngster told this, so more young people identify with you and try it out. Give it a try and say it doesn't work. Before just saying this all, it doesn't work. It doesn't.
Anything, just move your body.
Yes.
Dance, Zumba, exercising,
Anything, everything.
Just
Yes,
move your body.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
Don't sit like that for
Yes.
years.
Yes.
Move it. And also laugh.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Laugh more often. Yes, we don't. We are so held up with so many things. So in this, I would like to say about Eliud Kipchoge is one of the best runners of long distance runners. He is the only person to have run a marathon in under 2 hours. So when he finds difficulty in a race, he starts smiling, because that tricks the mind to thinking that you're happy. He himself told that. So whenever you have time, please look him up. He's got so much life advice to give. Yes, please do look him up sometime. Yeah.
As a doctor, any message that you want to share to people?
Yeah, as a doctor in a cancer hospital, I am seeing a lot more cancers a lot earlier than in the age groups we studied when I started out. And aggressive cancers too. So there are some causes: physical inactivity, ultra processed foods. Two major things which are in our control. So some are not in our control. Genetics, mutations, these are not in our control. So don't worry about them. It's like, once a patient came and asked me, "Madam, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I lead a healthy lifestyle, but I got cancer." That's an accident. We can't do uncontrollable situation. But if you go and stand in the middle of a railway track, accident will happen for sure. You are not physically active. Obesity is a known risk factor. Ultra processed food, processed meats, smoking, alcohol. Alcohol. These are proven risk factors for cancer. So if you're going to do that and say it happened, and you caused it for yourself, right? So I would like to promote health in the society. Like, as a doctor, I don't want to cure. I would be happier if I could prevent it from happening. So a healthy lifestyle, move more, eat less. We as a society are overfed and undernourished. I hope you can see the thing. We are eating more, but we are not eating good food. We are eating all the bad foods. Good food is something fresh, locally available. I'm not asking you to eat an avocado or kiwi. They are not local here. And the chances that they are fresh is also low. Preservative laden, yes, they may be. So eat your local banana. What is locally available to you? Eat your local vegetables. One of the famous dietitians says, like, there should be a name for it in your local language. Eat those foods. The highest chance of them being fresh and nutritious. Eat balanced diets. Eat early in the evenings, night. And sleep on time. Please focus on your sleep, because that is how your brain is going to recover. So that 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. is the time where you get the best quality sleep. It doesn't matter how many hours you sleep after 4. Most of the generation now sleeps late and wakes up late. It just doesn't work for your health. There's a thing called the circadian rhythm, like your entire body works along with the sunrise and set. So eat by close to sunset. Sleep within 3 hours of eating. So these are simple steps, right? At least do one step per day. If you can't do all the steps, it's your health we are talking about. And I want to spread in the same thing as like physical health, mental health too. Be aware of situations you can, like postpartum depression or perimenopause. Even men can be like, they least talk about it, but men can be depressed too. They feel it as a weakness to cry, to share. So everybody, life can be easier, you know. You have coping mechanisms, you have medical help to take. So please do, and be mentally healthy too, so that you're kind to people around you. So if as a person I can take care of 10 people around me, the government really doesn't have to do anything. Like every person take care of 10 people, the whole community will be good. Same with civic sense, and that's one more thing I'm passionate about. Along the thing that you can't separate wet and dry garbage, really, and you're blaming the government for everything. So government can't come and clean your house, right? At least your house you keep clean. People say like, what if I use one plastic cover less? There's so many. At least that one plastic cover goes less, right? Have a bag in your car. At least you reduce one plastic. So simple steps. Don't think of big changes. Start small. If everybody started small, we can make progress. Think of the future generations. My generation, I don't think I will face any of the bad effects of the environmental damage, but the future generations definitely will. Save water. Be careful when you use water, electricity. We are not taught any of this. Traffic sense, nothing is taught in schools, which are more important for a good society, right? Traffic rules, people, you just go crazy when you're driving on the Indian roads. Like, what were they thinking when we were driving like that? We are at a lift, you see somebody is coming, how many of us wait for that person to come? We will press it faster so we don't have to wait for them. One, you're helping them out. Two, you're saving the power. Small steps, which I think we need to teach at school level, so that, you know, someday, might be 10 years from now, will be a better society. Yeah.
And anything in specific to women or older people?
Yes.
Women, absolutely, being a woman, I would like, thank you for asking this question, because women are the ones who least focus on their fitness. And by fitness, I don't mean body shape. I mean how energetic and fit you are to maybe walk 2 kilometers, maybe lift a heavy weight, how strongly you age. So for young women, the ideals are different. So I'm going to separate it and say, so young women, it's always strong over skinny. There's nothing in skinny. And when you're strong and follow good diet and healthy lifestyle, you don't need any products. You're young and that glow will come through. You will look good. So focus on the right lifestyle. Don't focus on products or filters or anything else. And you are beautiful just the way you are. Don't let anybody tell you anything otherwise. It's how good you feel inside, right? That's the thing. So for them also, I advise strength training. Don't go for cardio. Strength training is the game changing. Lift weights, lift more weights for all age groups. It makes you fitter, stronger, and more resilient. And it's less stressful for the body. For older women, younger women also, you need to know that you have to go through childbirth. You have to go through postpartum. So the stronger you are, I am a personal example for that, the better you are equipped to deal with it. So whenever you feel low, whenever you feel, just go for a walk. Don't eat. Food is the most commonly abused antidepressant. You think you'll feel good eating that big bar of chocolate. No, you won't. The glucose will crash and you will feel worse than you started off with. Go for a walk. Lift a really heavy weight and I can guarantee you will feel better after that. So prepare yourself for the rest of your 60-year-old body will thank you for the effort you put in your 20s. And for older women, they are perimenopause specifically. This can start anytime 15 years. So from 35, anytime perimenopause can stop. You have this crazy mood swings happening. You cannot sleep well. Your stress hormones are increasing. You will gain weight. No matter what you do, you will gain a little weight. Don't get too sad about it. Accept that you're aging. Accept your skin changes. Accept your body changes. Just focus on being fit. And once you strength training again, even for the older women, and yes, heavy weights. You don't have to lift baby weights because you're a woman. I can assure you, you will not get muscular. So most women fear that muscles or just and we will look bad, we'll look like men, it won't look good. Muscle, men with all their testosterone cannot maintain muscle because testosterone is needed for that bulk. We don't have it, barely have it.
Yeah.
So don't even ever think that you're going to build so much muscle that you're going to look beefed up. That's never going to happen. So just focus on building strength in those muscles, and that will help you with all these stress, the hormonal changes that are going through. Find a group of people who are like you, who make you smile, who make you feel good, and spend more time with them. Speak to your family about issues that you're going through. Tell them this is why I'm behaving like I feel like this. They are also prepared. Otherwise, even they are clueless as to what is happening. Right? It's all about finding how to get out of that situation. So, bottom line, do strength training. No matter how old you are, what age you are, what gender you are. Yes.
And you were the founding members of Vizag Runner Society. So, how have you fostered a community and inspired people?
So yeah, this also started in around 2014 when we were like barely some people running on the road. Now you see a lot of people running on the beach road, right? So Mr. Balakrishna Rai, he saw a few runners. He got in touch with all of them. So 15 of us started this club in 2014-15 at that time. So why we started it is running is the easiest way to get people into healthy lifestyle. Because I know when you train for a race, you will do all the healthy lifestyle ticks. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, everything is ticked. So it's an easy way to get people into running. And I know when we give a good race experience, people will come back next year. And it keeps them in the healthy lifestyle. So that was our basic idea to start this club. And now we are more than 450 people in the club, and everybody is doing great races. Every year we see new runners who are doing good, and it's a great feeling. Yeah, carrying the fitness forward, kind of, yeah, in the society. I think promoting fitness is one of the best ways best contributions you can give to a society as a doctor, especially. I think, yeah.
How has your family supported you all this while, and do your family members also participate in marathons along with you?
So my family, sweetest and most supportive family. I shouldn't brag, but yeah, I think my husband and my son is my biggest cheerleader. Yes, he is always like. But the thing is, like, whenever I come home after race, my son is like, "Did you win?" He's like, "Come on, you don't win all the races. You some win some, you don't win some." And he has done some 5Ks. My daughter has run some short races. My daughter is more into creative kind of, but I am glad she strength trains regularly. I am okay if she doesn't run races, but I'm glad she strength trains, and she's so happy. Just the other day, she told me, "Mama, I did 60 knee push-ups, and you know what?" And she was so excited. I'm like, I'm really happy. At least I could inspire, like, make one because I never forced my ideals on. I never did that. I'm like, you have to eat healthy. You have to do this. I tell them this is a better thing to do. You want to try that? Please do. But see what is working for your favor. What makes you feel good. See, when you eat those ultra processed foods, you don't feel good afterwards. All your abilities are down kind of after that. You just have to be watchful of that. You realize once you see the difference, you yourself, like whenever my son is a big fan of KFC, the popcorn chicken, and he knows his tummy feels bad the next day. So he limited it, like, if given the choice, he would have it every day, but he doesn't do that now because he knows for himself that it's not making him feel really good. Leave all the studies, what the science has to say, but at least you know how it's working for you, right? So that way they help. My husband has done half marathons. He hasn't done full, but he has done a trial run with me, and he's done a 200-kilometer cycling race, cycling ride, if you must say. It's a BRM, what they call. And my father, being in the army, he's so happy when I go out for races, outstation and all. He's like my son. They're equally excited. My mother, she would be scared for me. You're running so much, what will happen to you? What will happen to you and all? My mother-in-law, she will tell about me to in every family occasion, my daughter-in-law ran that. She won this, she did that, she does so much. My in-laws are they're constantly praising me for everything, kind of. They're sweetest souls, I think. Yeah, so I have an amazing supportive family, and it's important sometimes. Yeah, you can still do it if they don't support you, but makes it way easier when you have a supportive family.
So again, I want to mention this, that you don't force anybody in your family. You have to eat only these particular food, and you should not, that is banned in this. No. You don't
Nothing.
force it.
Actually, my idea was like, as little kids, I wanted them to have a taste of everything and make that choice for themselves. Now, supposing I restricted pizzas and burgers completely, once they went to college, their hunger is like super high, and they have unlimited access. They would end up binging. The only thing I taught them was like portion control. If it is an unhealthy food, try to limit your portions. Try to eat less of it. See, figure it out. Don't, you know where to stop, kind of. Healthy food also, you can't eat more. Even nuts, dry fruits. Just because they're healthy, you can't have a big bowl of them, because they are calorie dense. So what we fail to give our kids is food education, which is so important in life. How does a balanced plate look? What are the macronutrients? What are the micronutrients? What do you need to focus on an everyday plate? Don't miss these food items on your plate. And that also has a small thing for junk food, but a really small one and not frequent one. So yeah, as youngsters, the more you restrict them, they should make that change themselves. They should realize why mom is telling this. Yeah. I'm happy both of them have portion control. I don't say they don't. My husband is too old for me to tell him, teach him about anything, but he has his own portion control. And so that's the thing. Like, if you want to look, the society's idea of fitness, slim and thing, it's all about food. Exercise has maybe 10-15% role. How thin or fat you are is in what you eat. So he is quite fit because he has control over his food. If he has overeaten in a meal, he will make sure he cancels it out in the next meal or eats healthy next. And we frequently don't eat out. That's we try to avoid eating out as much as possible.
Packaged food and all.
No ordering, no eating. Yeah. If somebody is really struggling, please delete Swiggy, Zomato from your phone. Remove that access to food. I don't stock up on food at home. Generally, people say like, kids unnar kabatti, you need to have some snack available. So the idea is, if you're many a times you're hungry because either you're bored or you're thirsty or you're stressed. These are major causes for hunger. If you ate your 3 meals, why should you feel hungry randomly in between? So rule out those causes. So best way is, if you don't have access to food, you have to prepare the snack.
Yeah.
Then you will really think, am I really hungry? And you will prepare. If you're still hungry, yes, go and prepare the snack, a good snack, and eat.
నేను ఇది ట్రై చేశాను. బాగా ఆకలేసిన రోజున నేను అంటే నాకు నచ్చిన ఒక డిష్ వండుతాను. ఆ వండిన ప్రాసెస్ అంతా అయిపోయిన తర్వాత, అయిపోయి స్టవ్ ఆఫ్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఇంకా ఆకలే ఉండదు నాకు. అంత చేసిన తర్వాత ఇంకా నాకు ఏం ఆకలేస్తుందిరా అని పక్కన పెడితే అలా ఉంటుంది. యాక్టివిటీలోనే
కుకింగ్ ఇస్ ఆల్సో లైక్, it's a joyful process. Therapy for most people. And that's what I feel nowadays. Women look down upon cooking. They feel it's a menial job. Having control of what goes into your body and your family's body is not a menial job. It is as important as your profession. So you earn so much and your health has gone for a toss. Cook will obviously put lots of oil, she'll put lots of salt, masala to make it tasty. But the real taste comes from simple flavors, right? Less oil. That's what gives it the true flavor. And if you're not in control of what's going into your body, all your earning really doesn't matter. And cooking what? Like a basic meal takes half an hour. Don't tell me you're too busy for half an hour. And make it a family thing. Teach your kids that, yes, you should be able. It's a life skill, right? Tinedaniki, you're dependent on somebody. Where does that leave you? You can't cook a decent meal for yourself until you're a handicap, right? If you have to order it, or worse, if you have a cook, that's still little better. If you're ordering all meals, God save us. I think it's more business for us. I shouldn't be saying.
Yeah.
Like one of my co-runners who works in a cancer hospital too, Dr. Sumandas, he says like whenever he sees people smoking, he feels I should go out and give them my card. Lelo, you will need me later in life for sure.
So, you have worked in cancer hospital most of your professional career, no? Ante you have seen life the closest, you have seen death the closest also.
Death, the closest, in fact. Yeah.
And you have seen the ups and downs. Ante some people get recovered.
Yeah, now
Cancer
with
lo,
treatment,
na,
we
yeah.
have very good survival rates and very good life. Quality of life is also very good, but yes, sometimes we can't do much about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So hope చూసారు, హోప్లెస్నెస్ చూసారు. సో అన్ని రకాలు అంటే ఆల్ ఎమోషన్స్ అన్నీ చూసే ఉంటారు కదా. సో వాట్ డూ యూ థింక్ ద పర్పస్ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్ ఇస్?
For me, I think the purpose of life is to be useful to at least somebody. I mean, might be not the whole society. That somebody could be your family member also. If you made somebody smile that day, yeah, I think that's the biggest purpose of life. Smile or help them in some way, emotionally, physically, financially, whatever it be. Be kind. I think we need to be more kind and less judging, you know. Don't judge other people. You never know what they're going through unless you're there yourself. So they might be the worst of people, but don't judge. It doesn't make you better, right? It doesn't change anything for you. Be kind to people around you, and for me that would be the best thing. It doesn't have to be a big group of people. Even if one person, I brought a smile on their face today, yeah, I'm good. I think that's purpose. Like life is so unpredictable. In this like you have to live life like you're going to die tomorrow. That's a possibility. We're hearing so many people die, they're just walking on the road and dropping dead, like in their 40s, 30s and 40s too. So live life like you're going to die tomorrow, but plan like you're going to live for 100 years. So focus on your investment, savings, financially. You plan like you're going to live for 100 years, but accept if should something happen to you tomorrow. That's the way life is, right? The moment you make that acceptance that nothing is in your control, life is a lot happier. The worst I feel is for pediatric patients. Pediatric in the sense babies. Babies also come with cancers because of genetic mutations and all that. So actually nothing they did to go through that.
Yeah.
And it's the worst feeling to see them go through so much pain and the parents going through so much pain. So then you feel, like I was saying, we are really blessed for everything we have in life. So be grateful, accept that you can't change, and then move on. That's it.
Anything that you want to share to people who want to start running in marathons and also to co-runners?
Co-runners, please don't get too carried away by Strava and posting your workouts. You do your workouts for yourself, for the joy of doing it. Focus on the training process, effort. See, I hear runners say like, don't compete with others. It is you versus you. Like yesterday, are you better than yesterday? But I would say it's not you versus you either. Yesterday I wasn't 10 years ago, I was 10 years younger. So don't expect me to be the same at this age, right? It is, but today when I went out for a run, did I give 100% of what I can give? Only that. Only that is in your control. Race day, weather might be different, something might be different, you might not have slept well, you might not have rested well, or you did very well. So those are all not in your control. Did you give your 100%? Just focus on the effort, and everything what's meant to be will happen. And for people like who want to get into marathons, please take it slow, focus on nutrition, sleep and strength training, and take it slow. There's no hurry. The races aren't going to get finished, and you will always have your time to run a race. Yeah.
So ma'am, we see a lot of the cancer related cases coming up these days, and what can people do to reduce the risk of getting a cancer or detect it? If
Yeah. I'm glad you asked this because many cancers have a direct relation to the lifestyles we are leading. So, tobacco products, alcohol, known risk factors. So, please avoid them. And let me tell you, there is no, some people tell that so much ml of alcohol is good for you. It is not. Scientifically, there is no proof to say alcohol or tobacco is good for you in any quantities. Tobacco is like if the passive smoking is worse than the person actually smoking. So think of your family, please. Being physically active. That's also sedentary. It is no, obesity is a known risk factor. Processed, ultra processed foods and processed meat, smoked foods, all these are risk factors. Some evidence to connect them to cancer. So please avoid them or really reduce them. Try to be active, keep your weight in control, and half the risk is gone. And sometimes you not related to this also you can get cancer. So for women, I would say please do a self breast examination because breast and cervix are relatively good outcomes, like they respond to treatment. We see patients 15 years, 20 years after treatment. So please do a breast examination every month at least. Stand in front of the mirror, see for the size, any size difference, or anywhere skin changes are coming, nipple, any discharges there, nipple is going in, or you have in this area, in this area, lumps. So do this immediately after your period, like 5th or 6th day, because that time the breast won't be lumpy.
okay.
Just before period, breast normally will feel a little lumpy. So do this, think of a date, like might be your birthday or something. On that date, every month, you check your breast. Because this is one, you will be the first one to pick up any difference because you're regularly doing it and it's your body. So self breast examination, I would advise for everybody over 25, please do it. You can easily pick it up, first pick it up. Over 40, it is recommended every year a mammogram. So that's kind of x-ray we take for the breast and then it'll pick up any small early change. So earlier we detect, the better the treatment and chances of survival for long. Response to treatment is better. For cervix, you have a vaccine which can be given before the sexual activity starts. It helps against some percentage of the cervical mouth cancers and anorectal cancers. So this is only effective if given before the sexual activity has started, actually in the young kids. So older women it won't help, but what above 25 get a pap smear done every 3 years. This is kind of, they'll take a thin scraping of the cells of the cervix and check if there's any cancer change. So this again responds very well to treatment if detected early. And then cancer of the ovaries, if you're feeling any lump in the stomach, or you're feeling your periods are really irregular, or you're having bleeding in between cycles, very heavy periods, all this, please visit a gynec who will do the basic ultrasound or some test to rule out. Because the bottom line is early detection, better survival rates. Even for men, so keep off the smoking and alcohol completely. Some lung cancers can come without smoking also, but what is in your control, at least you can change that, right? So we have few low dose CT screenings for chronic smokers. So any change in voice and urine blood or motion blood, dark motion, all these are danger signs. So anywhere there's an ulcer that's not healing, chronic gut has been there, so take medical help. It's not cancer, get that thing. It's not some condition you have to be worried about. Then have peace of mind, right? So there is so much medical help easily available in India. It's not like you have to wait for months for appointment like abroad. Easy access, relatively cheap. So please go and get an appointment and rule out. Get a screening done. And for the general lifestyle is like diabetes and hypertension, master health checkup once a year after 30, I would say, because we are seeing it in the much younger age groups nowadays. Yes, definitely a master health checkup, the basic blood work. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to follow your footsteps, what is the guidance that you would like to offer them, like in terms of marathon running?
Yeah, as a woman, I think know your body. how much you're capable of, what are the other things you're doing in life, how much time. Don't do it all, don't try to do it all by overstretching yourself, like kind of to the point that you're going to break. Do how much you're comfortable with. You can run marathons even with less hours of training. It depends on the time you're looking at, how much time you want to complete. Take it slow, take it easy, and please, please, please focus on strength training and nutrition. Women are very obsessed with how they look. They want to be thin, and I am also like, I always say, like, if I'm a little thinner, I can run a little faster, kind of. So don't obsess. Look at strength, strong over skinny. So eat. When you run marathons, you need to eat more. You cannot eat less, and there's no petrol. How will the car run? So yeah, you need to eat more when you're training for a race. Everything is a balance. Yes, so please, somebody did it, and I will do it in the same way. Do what works for you. Can you train at these points in life? What are the timings you can take out for training? Have a plan, and always have a coach. I think it helps.
And you said strong over skinny. So I have a lot of friends. You know, I see them like, so they're very skinny. And I also have friends who are perfect. Like, I mean, I can't say like they're kind of okay.
Society
They're good. Yeah,
standards of perfect, maybe.
But so when I go on a walk, or when I walk with them, or we just walk, talk, and walk like that, I see that they get tired after.
Exactly.
I don't feel that tiredness. Maybe I do. Maybe I'm just talking, so I don't feel it like that. But they are feeling so tired. They can't lift weights so much. They can't lift it for so long also. So I mean, I used to think that they are skinny, they are perfect, so they should be strong enough. I mean, I never counted that factor, like you have to be strong, like skinny is strong. That is what I thought.
That's what you think, skinny is healthy? No, it's not. As a youngster, you should easily be able to walk a 5K any day, anytime. You should be able to do that. Lift at least 70%. Like, when we talk about health parameters, two important things is to be able to hang. Your body weight, you should be able to hang on a bar for 1.5 minutes. And you should be able to carry 2 dumbbells, which are 75% of your body weight, for 1 minute. So these are like, this define how strongly you're going to age later. So if you're not able to, you're struggling with 5 kg dumbbells, means you need to work on your strength. You're not healthy anymore. You need to be eating more, the protein more, carbs also. Carbs are not your enemies, they are your friends. So you need to have everything in a balance. Don't shun a food, or don't overeat a food. Have a good, that's why I need the food education in school level. We don't teach them the right what. Academics, always academics. Teach them how to fix a plate for themselves, right? So they are not carried away by how somebody else is looking or what they're eating. They know what's right, they know the science behind it, and they adopt a healthy lifestyle. So yes, be active, be fit and strong over skinny any day. Yeah, because you have to go through a lot later. You have to go through childbirth, you have to raise kids, if you choose to have kids. Yeah, absolutely. If you don't want to have kids, you still have to age as a woman, because after 30 you will lose muscle just like that, with nothing, because your hormones are falling. So if you haven't built a good foundation and you're not working on it every day, you're going to keep losing muscle. And how many women I see who fall in the bathroom and break their bones. Femur is like, your thigh bone is supposed to be the strongest bone in your body, and that just breaks with a fall, and you're bedridden, right? Quality of life, how you age as an older person, is very important. So that is, you have to invest now. The best investment you can make for your future is not money, it is your health. Do the right things now. So yeah, my mother would say this, like, if you're 60 and you have made enough savings and you're healthy, that's the best time to enjoy life. What we think is like, youngsters think now, I'm missing out on life, I have to enjoy life, I have to travel, I have to do this. Academics are important as a youngster. Be productive. You're a very small group of people who will pay taxes, right? The rest of the people are dependent on the taxes you are paying for the country's economy. So play your part. Okay, if you many people say I'll follow my passion. You are having the privilege of getting a job and being able to earn. Somebody from a slum area or some might not have that privilege. You have the access to good education, good jobs. Please make use of it. Work 4 days a week, enjoy the other 3 days, but do your part for the society. Don't completely I'm just going to be follow my passion and I'm not going to be economically productive. Selfish, I think. Do your part. You have been given the privilege being born into good families. You have the privilege. Please make use, at least for 20-30 years, if not more.
So, ma'am, you faced any injuries while training or running?
Yeah, many. So I'm very, very injury prone, and I usually get into like women are a little more prone for injuries because our pelvis is wide for childbirth, and there will be imbalance. And we are starting out late, and we really haven't strength trained earlier, so we are a little prone. And I would get into multiple muscle sprains, one or the other, multiple times in every time. Sometimes just days before a race, kind of have trained for the race and I couldn't run the race. That also has happened, but all that have come down after I took a coach, because he focused a lot on strength and all that, and wholesome recovery and everything. So that came down a lot after that. And sometimes there are accidents, like I was going to run a 100-kilometer race, and while collecting in the expo where you collect your race number and all, I twisted my foot and fell. And so I couldn't run the race. So that was really sad, and that teaches you a lot, right? Like, life is unpredictable. Take it. Might be it was for your good. See, if you feel, I can sulk about that and say, oh God, what happened? Why is this happening to me? Doesn't change anything, right? Just think maybe it's for the better. Might be something bad was averted. At least you have a positive outlook to life. You really can't change anything. Right? So at least be happy about it.
So you said you couldn't participate in one of the marathons. So you didn't. Were there marathons where you couldn't finish?
Yes. So there was this trail run we did in Darjeeling. It's called the Buddha Trails. It's a hell race. So they call it the hell races because they show you hell in trying to. It's really tough races they are. So I couldn't finish. I finished that in 15 hours. The cutoff was 13 hours. So it's a did not, technically, officially, it's a did not finish. Even though I completed the course, it's a did not finish. And what I learned from that, this was during my training for comrades.
Oh.
So when I look back at it, what did it teach me? I could have gone into loss of confidence, like cannot do it, I cannot run, why am I going so far to run? But what it taught me is I can stay for 15 hours on my feet. I can do that. My body is capable of that. 2, what I did in that race is, in the middle of the race, there are cut-off points. Like, you have to reach this point by this time, or else you cannot continue the race.
Oh.
So one of the cut-off points I reached just in time. And I was calculating the rest of the race, and I'm not going to complete it. So I stopped taking gels. I stopped taking hydration, fueling. Like, barely I was taking. Obviously, my energy would be low. If I had stuck to my training nutrition plan, I probably would have completed it. And third thing I learned is, whatever race you're training for, train for it properly. So this was in between my training for comrades, which still I hadn't reached the hill training phase. And I went to run a hill run where I didn't acclimate. This is about, I think, 8,000 meters above sea level or something. I'm not, 5,000 meters above sea level, I think. And we are going from 0. So your lung needs time to acclimatize, right? So from every failure, you learn what you could have done differently, which should have changed the outcome. So if I ever run a trail race again, I will acclimatize well. I will go and stay in the place for a couple of days, so my lungs learn the low oxygen, altitude, everything. And I will train for hills when I go there. So yeah, everything is a learning, and everything is for your good ultimately. The life happens for you. It doesn't happen to you. You just need to be so positive in life, and you feel happy that way, When you keep cursing something, what good is going to end? It's not going to help you in any way.
Any races that you are looking forward now, you want to participate?
Yeah, Border is another hell race. It's in Jaisalmer. which I was going to run, but I twisted my ankle. Yeah, I want to run it sometime. Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of trail races I want to do. Someday maybe Ironman. Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, thank you.
And you'll again create a history.
It's not about creating, it's not a history or anything. For me, it's the personal benchmark for me. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Doctor. It was truly an honor to have you on show. It is the very first time we have a doctor on Abhilasha, and thank you so much. It was super exciting. Like it was like ups and downs, and we have discussed all about like radiology to marathons to
Such a varied society and civic sense. And thank you so much for the platform, and I absolutely felt like I'm talking to my child and so comfortable here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, yeah. I had a lot of questions to ask because I've heard about marathons, but as an engineering student, I've heard about hackathons more than marathons. So for me, every time I say marathon, I'm like hackathon.
And yes, 3K is not a marathon.
Yeah.
Marathon is only 42.2.
But yeah, every time I say that, I mean, even in the talking, I was like, hackathon was coming before marathon. Like, no. But in this podcast, we talked a lot about from radiology to marathons to health, fitness,
civic sense also.
Civic sense, and and why women should focus on fitness.
Yes.
How important that is to their bodies, and very very interesting. And I've learned a lot. I had a lot of questions. As a 20-year-old, I understand that our women bodies are. I mean, we women, we're going to go through a lot. Yeah, 20 is nothing. I've not lived life. I've just started. So I think as you say that we are going to go through a lot of things, a lot of phases. So it's like an awareness to me.
Yeah, I hope others get aware too, and we redefine fitness and health.
Yes,
it's always strong over skinny, happy over beautiful, kind and happy over beautiful. Yes,
and I hope your message inspires everyone who listens to this. Thank you so much for joining
us,
Abhilasha.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Abhilasha. If this touched you, inspired you, or made you think, please do us a small favor. Like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel Abhilasha, Stories from Heart, Mind, and Voice.